When I talk about proving ROI, proving what you're doing works, you don't just come in with some nonsense like, oh, our ROI on this investment was 107%. No one cares. And it's an irrelevant figure anyway. What you come in with, you come in and say, these behaviors are increasing productivity, moving the organization, increasing innovation, and doing all the things that you want this organization to do. Focus on the end results of the senior team, not the end results of L&D. Who cares about the end results of L&D? We care about the end results of the organization. Then I think you have a much easier conversation. And sometimes money is tight, budgets are tight. You can do some of this stuff for very little direct investment. If you can empower people to develop themselves, to work as teams, you don't need big fancy infrastructure, big fancy courses to move people forward. You need to get people to feel like they're empowered, they have some intrinsic motivation to move themselves, their team, and therefore the organization forward. If you pitch it right, it's not difficult. It really isn't difficult. L&D does not do enough fieldwork. And fieldwork is challenging every assumption. When someone says, oh, they need this, you investigate. Can we talk to people? Can we spend a day with this team that is failing so badly because they don't have sales skills or whatever it might be? Let us get out there, talk to not the leadership, but talk to people on the proverbial shop floor, understand profoundly where the blockages are, understand profoundly what is needed to move the organization forward, and then formulate that into an action plan that may include formal learning, but often is an increase in informal and social learning as an increase in capability and belief. Some of the issues which L&D tell you are skills deficits are confidence deficits. People do not believe that they can do it. And if you can convince them, yes, you can, if you can move in this direction, you will make a massive impact on the organization. You will secure your future in the organization. That is very reassuring. So when you finally go in to that leadership team, you don't go in saying, oh, we've prepared this program. You go in saying, this is what your people are saying. These are the blockages that are really holding back productivity in this area. This is exactly what we're going to do. And we will measure the impact, not by some nonsensical, abstract concept like ROI. We will measure the impact by the changes you see in the organization that will be validated by your people in the organization, not by us. We're not going to tell you things are changing. We will get your people to tell you that this is moving forward. And if it's not moving forward, we will have failed. It's as simple as that. And if we failed, we'll come back and we'll work out what went wrong and we'll go again. So it's all about being able to build a new organization with the people, not against them or to them, and having evidence that things are moving. Evidence is really important, and you gather evidence the whole time. What that means is every little hint of faint signals of change, every comment that someone makes about being able to do this today they couldn't do yesterday, and every time they say, well, the team solved that problem, we never thought we could have solved that. That's the evidence that you take back in to show that the needle is moving and that the organization is not just changing, but perhaps transforming. And then the investment flows. I recommend Brinkhoff and the success case method, because what Brinkhoff does is he interviews people going through the process. And Brinkhoff's view is that you don't interview everybody. You interview the people where it was a disaster and the people where it was a huge success. And you look at the conditions that caused it to be a disaster and the conditions that caused it to be a success. And guess what? You take the conditions of success and you put them into the areas where it wasn't working. And what Brinkhoff says, which is absolutely true, is most failure is not based on the content or on the course or the program. It's often not their knowledge or their skills that are holding them back. It's based on the context. It's the blockages in the organization. It can be a middle manager who just blocks stuff. It can be leaders who don't listen. It can be a work environment that is toxic. All sorts of things have to be fixed in order to get things moving. So it's this holistic view that I think is really important. And you need software that will gather data for you. You can't go out there and start observing people at work, 24 hours a day. You need something that will pick up those faint signals and give you indicators. Therefore, you need to talk to your IT people, you need to look at the existing frameworks of data gathering, and you need to make some of that data yourself. So it is definitely qualitative. You need evidence, you need to interview people, you need to tell stories, essentially. But secondly, you need metrics to back that up. You need data to back that up. The two things together make an incontrovertible case. One of the things that AI is really good at is pattern recognition. And if you can put the torrent of data coming out through AI saying, what are the significant issues? Where do you see the blockages? AI will go through all of that data and come out with 5 or 6 things, but it's also a way of monitoring those changes. If I'm saying pick up weak signals, AI will do that better than any human being can possibly do it. AI finds needles in haystacks, and that is really valuable. In a world where we're drowning in data, we're drowning in information coming through, you've got to find the metrics that matter and not just focus in on things that fundamentally irrelevant or giving you the wrong message. And you need lots of data to be able to make certain statements and be more certain. I was working with a new hospital, and I was talking to the head of the L&D, and she was deeply frustrated because she's trying her best to have some kind of impact, but no one's listening. The IT people are really concerned about getting the IT right. The logistics people are really concerned about getting the locks on the doors and getting the equipment in. And everything was dependent on bringing all this hugely complicated jigsaw together at the right time in order to this hospital can open when it's supposed to and not waste a fortune just sitting there idle and empty. And she's saying, I've got a lot to offer and no one's listening. They say, it's not the time. And I said, in that environment, it will never be the time. People will come in, the whole thing will be a disaster. So she did what I asked her to do. She started to gather data on the frustrations, on the misunderstandings and the misconceptions of the people who would be working in that new hospital. She put together a program and she put it to the senior team who were managing this development saying, if you ignore people right until the last minute, you will have a disaster. These are the frustrations. These are the things they need. And then she presented opportunities for people to get comfortable with the new systems, the new workflows, by giving them a chance to understand how the logic was going to be exercised in a particular area. For example, it was in A&E, accident and emergency, ER. Then ER nurses and doctors would come into the new place and say, well, no, that's got to be there and that's got to be there. So they'd listen to what they had to say so that they felt some ownership in the new place. And the result was that not only did she get welcomed in, but people were really listening and saying, wow, this is important work. She's got a really good role now for the next 2 years in getting this hospital ready and then seeing it through the opening. The key was to make people who focus on spreadsheets and data think about the people behind the spreadsheets and the data. Because at the end of the day, we all know intrinsically that good people can make bad systems work and bad people can make really good systems collapse. So if you take the people with you and you give them motivation and confidence and a sense of purpose in this new hospital, you will get everyone on your side. So it went from basically staff in the old hospital saying, we don't want to leave, we don't want to change, this is going to be a disaster, to saying, whoa, this is exciting, we're part of this future. So it's about being inclusive and recognizing that in every circumstance, people are at the heart of any kind of change and transformation. Ignore that and you ignore that at your peril.